Alright, so I think I need to do another one of these update videos to let everyone know what I'm thinking, what I'm gonna do with the channel here, where I'm going, where the path is taking me here. So basically, up to now, if you look at what I have here, it almost feels like a gaming channel because there are a lot of videos that are from PSVR 1, VR gaming. But if you dig deeper and you look at everything I have here, you're gonna see I'm more like in the intellectual side. I'm interested in writing science fiction thrillers, as books. And I have other interests like, philosophy, psychology, all those, interesting topics are the things that interest me. However, I'm planning to make some changes, and this time it's gonna be, the kind of changes that they are going to define what I do here, what I post here, what the whole channel is going to be about, and what it will continue being about. So basically, I have been working for a long time in education as a math teacher, teaching math. I have done math tutoring also as well, a lot of math tutoring. And I haven't been doing that exactly during the last year, but deep down I know I like doing that, and most importantly, I know I'm very good at doing that. So I was thinking, I like helping people. I like doing what I can do, not just because it benefits me, but also because it can make a difference for other people involved, for anyone that watches my videos, that sort of thing. I like that. So I am definitely planning quite seriously. Like, if you look at the back, I I even have like a board ready here to, to give a class. This is a whiteboard, like in the classes, like at school. But I'm gonna do it in videos. I'm gonna do it here in the channel. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to use this channel to share two things. One, that's going to continue because that's something that is not just one of my top hobbies right now, probably my top hobby right now, but it's one of the things that I care about. So that's something that's gonna stay no matter what. So number one thing, I'm going to continue with the science fiction thriller, with the science fiction series, with the real reality series. I know I'm reaching a point there where it's gonna change from, okay, this guy is writing a story that is good, there are many other good science fiction stories, this one is good too, to wait a second, this guy is writing something that is top 10 material, like this guy could be the Dan Brown of the science fiction genre in his generation. I would like to be that, like if I could choose, of all time. But you never know until it is done. After it is done, that's when you're gonna know if it's gonna be a big deal or not. So basically, I just began doing a great science fiction series. I have 6 chapters done so far, working on the 7. I don't know if it's the 7 or the 8th. But what matters here is that I know that I reached a point in this series, in this first season, which is the first book, which I'm doing for free, and I'm gonna share it everywhere, in different sites. I'm gonna share in Wattpad, in wattpad.com/user/Valkyrian creator with a B. That's me, by the way. Valkyrian creator is me. Not just in Wattpad, but also in, for example, in PSN, in the PlayStation Network. All these VR games that I played them under that user, under Valkyrian Creator. And I also share a lot of videos there, which are the ones that are here in YouTube. I also share them in the PSN profile. So that's another hobby. It's a big hobby of mine. That's no secret for anyone that watches this channel. But it's really like my number 3. My number 1 is really educational pursuits, like learning things. I love learning things, but I'm also very good at teaching the things that I learn to others clearly, in a way that they will understand, in a way that they will learn what I learned from me. you know, because I teach it um, in a manner that is easier to understand for people that might have difficulty to learn that subject or that material. So I love learning new things and teaching what I learned. I worked, like that was my job during 2 years as a math teacher. I also did a lot of tutoring during that time. So it's, not just a skill that I had and I still have, it's also something that I did as a job. And there's like a part of me that still would like to do that as a job. So that's why I'm doing this change in the channel. So the channel stays with two main areas. Number one is the stories, the science fiction series, which I believe the one I'm doing right now, the real reality series, I believe it can be one of the top 10 in the science fiction genre. And I'm reaching right now a point in that story where it's going to get much better than what it already was. Like, it was good from the beginning, it's still good now, but now it's gonna enter a stage in that series, in that story, where it jumps. And there's gonna be a lot of stuff which is like thought-provoking, deeply thought-provoking, and interesting. It's gonna make people think, it's gonna make people wonder. And it's also an action series, so it's not just the interesting stuff like in a scientific sort of way. It's not really like that, because there's like action mixed in there, and it's kind of like I believe it's much better than The Matrix. I'm not saying this to brag or anything, but I think it's much better. Perhaps more realistic. I find it more interesting, but I am the author, so I'm gonna leave that up to you have to decide that. After you read it, you should decide if you think, like I do, that it is so great. So that's gonna be one part of the channel. The other part, however, which I'm going to introduce now, this is the first time I'm gonna talk about anything related to that, is going to be math tutoring related videos. So in these videos, I'm going to divide them, like by subject. Like, first we're going to begin with the basics, elementary math. Then we're gonna go to Algebra 1. We also will have Geometry and Algebra 2, and I'm gonna focus it on 6 to 12, math from 6, grade 6 to 12, so up to high school level. However, up to high school level, there are some classes there, they also have them at the university level. Like the Algebra 2 class, it has a lot. It's almost the same thing as the college algebra class at the university. The geometry class in high school is very similar as the low-level geometry class at the university. It's the same class pretty much. They might take away some topic and add another one, but it's the same thing. So I'm thinking about making videos for these that go into what I consider basic stuff that you should know for these classes and for math in general, and I'm going to explain it with my own way, with my methodology, with the way I teach it. So I'm gonna do those videos, I'm gonna post them here, and I'm also going to link those videos with an email address or way for you or for anybody else that watches the video in YouTube to actually contact me, to reach out to me, and to actually reserve a tutoring session online with me through Zoom or even through Skype. We're gonna see. I think I would prefer Zoom, because obviously schools have been using Zoom a lot more, universities have been using Zoom, so people are more used to receiving classes or even receiving a short tutoring session through Zoom. So I'm gonna basically give the service of 1 hour math tutoring with me, with author Pedro Cristobal, who's not just an author who writes science fiction thrillers, but who's also a really good math teacher that explains things clearly. So you're gonna have the option of actually getting either a math class or an explanation of a concept, or whatever it is you have problems with in math, in that kind of math, not in PhD level math, because even though I cannot name every math class that I ever took up to calculus 2, But because I wasn't a math major at the university or anything like that, I actually didn't do the up to the master degree level math, the highest level. But I enjoy teaching the high school level math, not because it's easier, but because I enjoy it more. Like I don't want. I almost said I have fun. I do have a little fun, teaching math and with math. Otherwise, I would have last teaching it for so long. But it's not just about fun. I like teaching that sort of stuff. I like seeing students of any age. Maybe you can be 30 years old and you need help with a math concept in an algebra 2 class, which is like the college algebra class at the university. I enjoy teaching that stuff to people that need it. And I enjoy seeing that they are getting it or learning it because of my explanation, because I am, doing my work, my teaching related work with them. So then, I'm gonna focus the channel on those two things. I'm going to restructure the playlist here and probably move around the videos. I'm gonna leave all the other, gaming related videos here. All of that's gonna stay here. But I might, instead of having like 20 PSVR and beer gaming playlists, I'm gonna have like 4 or 5. There's gonna be like one main playlist, which is gonna be like all gameplay videos by Valkyrian Creator, who's me. Some really good gameplay videos, because I took, my time with these VR games, I took it seriously. Like if there was like a hard mode in the game, I wanted to try to reach that mode. And when I reached that mode, if I had like an interesting playthrough in a hard mode, I would record it and I would share the video. So I wanted to challenge myself, and I also had this like hardcore gaming bug that I had to get rid of. Like I always loved, when I was a kid, I always loved gaming, but when I reached high school and I went to college, I was all into the academic, all into the classes, all into studying, all into learning, and I quit gaming pretty much. I left it on the side, and there was this part of me that always wanted to, man, I should have tried this, should have tried that, but I was too busy with the classes and that, and never tried it. So much later, like in the last couple of years, when I got into the VR games and all that, and I had more time, I wanna deep dive into that, and I got rid of that bug in the gaming world. I even got one in a game that probably was played by, I'm guessing that by 20,000 people, between 20,000 and 30,000 people. I got one of those top scores. It wasn't super hyper cube, by the way. I went crazy with this stuff. I just wanted to push myself to the next level, just to see how far I could get there. Once upon a time, not anymore. Like in Beat Saber, when it had like 800,000 players in PSVR, I got into the top 10 scores. Like I was playing that as if it was a sport. Like, let's go play basketball to the park every day. Let's go play tennis to the tennis courts every day. I used to play tennis, by the way, not professionally, but I like playing it a lot. And so I did it like that, but I did it with Beat Saber, and I got into the top 10 scores and all. But right now, when there are like 3 million people in the game, there are a lot of people who are better than me. That's just the way it is. They are a lot better than what I used to be. So the top 10 scores that I had back then, wow, they went. So I'm like 30 something, I guess, 40 something, 50. But it was interesting. It was interesting. So what I'm gonna do with all those playlists of those videos from those times that I shared here is I'm gonna make like a master playlist of all my gameplay from PSVR. I'm gonna put all of those, or at least the most interesting ones, in that playlist. if there was one or two where I only have one video from that, I'm gonna put that video in that playlist. But that in general, I'm gonna remove some of the other playlists, and I'm just gonna leave the big ones there, like the one that I got the top score for, Super Hypercube. I'm gonna leave that playlist there so that anyone who's interested can see how, how the crazy guy who got that score did it, little by little. You can see all those videos I published there. I think I did pretty well in Dance Collider. Dance Colliders, I have enjoyed that one so much in the last few months. So I'm gonna leave the full playlist there. I really enjoyed that one. I don't know why people don't like it, as much as Beat Saber or as much as Synth Riders. It's probably because the tracking can be annoying sometimes. You have to make sure that you, calibrate it well with the tracking, otherwise it's annoying. But if you do that, it's really entertaining and really good to, if you cannot go running, or if it is too late in the day for running and you need to sweat through another cardio activity, you can play Dance Collider like I do. That's probably why I got so good at it, because I dedicated a lot of time to it, using it basically as my exercise. Like if I didn't have time to do anything else that day, I would log in into Dance Collider and play for like 20 minutes, and that was my exercise for that day. So I made sure that I did something every day to keep myself in shape. So yeah, it's obvious that gaming, and especially VR gaming, is one of my hobbies. But I'm going to dedicate the channel, not to that hobby anymore. I'm gonna leave all those videos there. I'm not going to delete them, so don't worry. Like if you join me here, if you follow me here or like what I do here because of the gaming related stuff, I'm gonna leave all that there. And I have like a archives, all videos that I haven't published, and I might go into them and all of a sudden publish a few more of those, so I can leave legacy VR library there by the Valkyrian creator. So I might do that, but it's gonna stay there. Everyone can see that this is a hobby from this math teacher, from this cool math teacher, who also happens to be a science fiction author, who is shooting high. I'm not shooting for the moon, perhaps not even for the sun and the stars. I'm shooting at galaxy level, intergalactic level, with the science fiction stuff I'm working on and writing, and also planning and all that. It takes a lot of work. It's not just when I publish it, you only see the chapter, but before that I had to plan it, I had to edit it, I had to obviously write it, there was a lot going into it. So that's it. That's what I'm planning basically. So I'm gonna restructure the VR content in the channel to kind of put like in a legacy folder, and it's gonna stay there. There are playlists that I'm gonna leave there, the ones that I consider that I really did great there, and anyone who wants to do great at those games like Super Hypercube and Dance Collider, and maybe even Beat Saber. Though in Beat Saber I'm not that great right now. In Beat Saber I'm probably in the top of 300 PSVR players maybe. Dance Collider, I am in the top 5 for sure, in all versions of the PSVR game, which I think there are 2. That's until the top people from Beat Saber find out about Dance Collider and go there. They can definitely beat my scores. But I did, it was so fun, and I did so well there. I think it can inspire anyone who watches my playlist. They're gonna go like, well, I need to get this game. I need to do what this guy did, because it is fun and it is challenging. So I'm sure many other people will like it. I'm gonna leave that there so that you can enjoy it like I did. Even if you don't play it, you can still watch the videos. So does this mean I'm never going to upload another video ever again? Not really. If I ever find something very, very interesting and I want to share it in my PSN profile, you know that in order to share it there, I have to post it here, and I'm gonna leave it here. It's I like transparency. I don't have any problem with letting people know my hobbies and who I really am. I know that people nowadays and before they care too much about like, oh, you're a math teacher, your channel should be about math only, you should be talking about math only. Or you're a science fiction author, your channel should be about science fiction only and about the books you write and the stories. I don't think that way. I think my channel should be about anything that is interesting and entertaining and thought-provoking and perhaps the number one, inspiring and useful. Doesn't matter. I don't care if it is the math lessons that I can teach and share here with anyone who needs them. If it is my math service, which I think I'm gonna put it probably at $28, $28 per hour. You know, I'm being cheap here, but I know I can teach really great classes. I know I'm good at teaching. I have done it already. I did it with really difficult groups. So I imagine that someone who's willing to hire me for 1 hour or for more hours to teach them something in math, algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, even trigonometry. Like I want to focus on high school level math because that was what I did as a teacher, high school level math. So I already know that I enjoy teaching those classes and those areas. So yeah, basically I'm gonna offer that service here through my YouTube channel, and obviously the videos are free. The videos I post here, teaching some exercise here in the board. This is the board I'm gonna use for that, but you know it's gonna look more like I'm gonna put it the other way, like a rectangle, and I'm gonna do it not here where I'm sitting right now, or probably one of the walls, one of the locations here in this apartment that looks nicer. And I have a projector. I have everything to do this wonderfully. I have everything to do this as if it was a real class at a school, but it's gonna be a lot better because this, you know, I'm hoping to focus one-on-one. So when I do it one-on-one, you know, like if you watch the video, 1 million people can watch the videos that I'm gonna put here as a math teacher and tutor. But they are all watching it individually, so it's still one-on-one. For the people that hire me in an hourly basis, you know, through Zoom, I'm gonna give them the hour of tutoring, teaching math through Zoom. It's gonna be one-on-one. So I know I'm gonna be, you know, doing a lot more good like this for that one person than when I was in the difficult classes before, you know, which were classes not only with too many people, but classes where, you know, people were not going to those classes to make sure that they learn. People were going to those classes because they didn't have any other choice. So I had to turn myself into like a surgeon, boot camp drill surgeon. Instead of author Pedro Crystal, I was, you know, boot camp surgeon in training Pedro Crystal in those classes, and it really wasn't enjoyable to teach there. But I still like teaching, so I'm gonna do it this way, and we're gonna see. You know, deep in me, I would like to be like a famous author, because I know the science fiction series, the science fiction action thriller, the real reality series that I'm writing is so great. To me, it's one of the top 10 best. And I have read the Foundation series. You know, I watch Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis. I know about the best series, and I still feel that mine is right there, you know, in competition with those, and even better than many of them. I watch Star Trek, you know, I watch all that. I like that stuff. I like sci-fi. So, you know, there's a part of me that would like to be known more because of the science fiction writing, but I also know that I am a great teacher. It's no secret to me that my real skill is not being a smart guy. My real skill, and by the way, the beer gaming shows that too. My real skill is learning and having the ability to teach what I learned to others. Like a teacher, that's what a teacher does. You learn the math, and then you're capable of transferring it to others because you can explain it clearly, even if it is a complex exercise or a complex topic within the subject for that math subject. So yeah, I have great ability for learning. Like when I want to get good at something and I keep drilling and drilling and drilling, and that's something I end up being at least reasonably good at it. If I stay with it for years, well, that's why I can be, a great science fiction author now, because I stayed with that hobby for years. Same with the math teacher. I stayed with that for years. So, but the other things that I got so good at, like even the bigger games, like Super Hypercube, Dance Collider, those games, it was because I kept training, and I'm good at learning new skills. I think it's my ability, and I think I'm also very good at transferring that skill to someone else, teaching that to someone else, so that they can also learn it, perhaps even learn it faster. Because when you have a great teacher for something, if you're smart, what happens is that you learn it right away. When you have a class with such a guy, such a woman, who is truly a good and clear teacher, you learn from the class with them, which is extremely rare. Even for good college professors, even for someone like me, I will leave their classes and I had learned only like 30% of the stuff they were teaching, and the other stuff, I had to review with the textbook because I didn't get everything from the class. But when you have a really good teacher, you get it from their class. At least 80%. It depends. It depends on whether you're a person that gets the subject easily, or if you are someone who struggles with the subject. Someone who gets it easily is going to get everything with that guy or with that woman. If you have a teacher or a professor who's a lady. Smart people, if they have the class with me, I think they're going to get it, the first time. But I have the training with people who were on the other side of the spectrum, which I think is perhaps what helped me to be a good teacher. I had the training teaching people who had difficulty learning math. So those people are never going to get it all 100% in 1 hour in the first class, regardless of what teacher you have. But if you have someone who has good psychology for them, like I did, I had a whole class of people like that, several classes. There was a time when I had 6 classes at a high school, at a public high school. It was where I used to teach. And it was really challenging, but I dealt with it and I did really well. People ask me that. People are gonna ask me that because this is a great question. It's normal. Why did you leave teaching at a class if you're so good at it and if you were successful with it? The reason I left wasn't because it was challenging, because there were many students in the class who didn't care about teaching, and I felt like I was really more of a sergeant, a drill sergeant at a boot camp there than a teacher. Believe it or not, that wasn't the real reason why I quit that and why I just went my own way to do other stuff. I still like teaching, so I want to kind of go back to that, but do it here in YouTube online now and see what happens. The real reason why I quit it was that I was being pushed by the administration to pass the students that were not passing the class because they didn't care about the class. And I'm the kind of guy who cannot accept that sort of how can we call that, injustice. Like the people that were working hard and were getting B's, those earned their B. But the people that were not doing anything and they just wanted to have a they were in school to have lunch or to sleep, not to learn, and they didn't care what happened. The administration, my bosses, the assistant principal, the principal, They wanted me to pass those folks, and I just couldn't accept that. And obviously, there was a time when someone told me, um, well, so you have to decide if you know that these people are not gonna pass with you, you won't be able to stay here. So I had to decide, okay, so what do I do? Do I keep teaching? Do I keep being a school teacher and getting my, nice salary every month? But I destroy my standards for teaching correctly and for having a class under the right conditions where you're fair. Being fair also includes failing whoever deserves to fail because that was what they earned. Do I throw that in the garbage and basically step over my moral principles for teaching correctly just to keep the salary here and just to keep being a teacher? Or do I go into something else? And I chose to go into something else. So I am that kind of person. Like, I like to do things right. I like to do the right thing as much as I can. And I just couldn't accept going back to my classes and seeing how the people who worked and earned their A and their B, they were sacrificing themselves to get that. And the people who didn't do anything, I was going to pass them, even though there was no sacrifice or no anything on their part. I wasn't going to accept that under any circumstance. So my only option was, either leaving, which was what I did. I left, or staying there until they will come to my day. They will come to my class or to the Department of Teachers one day and tell me, okay, we're gonna have to let go of you. We're gonna fire you because there are these people in your classes that you cannot take them away from an F. They will never tell me that I had to pass the people. Those were not the words that they used, but we'll know that they were talking about that. They would tell me, do you have this many Fs? You need to lower the Fs, ideally to 0 Fs, no Fs. You have to figure out a way on how to make these people pass, how to teach them so that they pass. There are cases where you're not gonna teach them because they already decided, even though they are not 18 years old or older, they are already, in their minds, they're already thinking that they are adults, and they already decided that they don't care, and they already decided that they really don't mind if they pass your class or not. So there's no way to help them. The solution is removing them from that class, even from the school, so that the rest of the people, the 95% of the people, can learn with the great teacher. But the administrations don't do that. The administrations, at least where I taught, at public high schools, they go against the teacher and they tell you, well, you figure it out. You're the one with the problem here. Your people have to pass somehow, and if you cannot do it, well, maybe you're the one who's not gonna stay here. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing a wonderful job. I know I'm a great teacher. I'm not gonna pass these people. These 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 who shouldn't even be allowed to enter the school. Like, if I was the one giving the orders here, the one doing things right, I would be really harsh with those people because I want to make sure that the 95% are getting the right education. So I wasn't willing to do that. Like, a lot of people do it and they stay because of the salary, because of the paycheck, and they become mediocre teachers because they allow people who shouldn't even be there in those classes to stay in their classes. They pass them. I don't like talking about this topic because it's like kind of personal for me because I was there. I was one of the people standing there and I saw what really happens, which is really sad. So it's if anyone is wondering why I quit it, being a teacher at a high school, at a public high school, when I was very young, like I still am. I still am a little bold. But I was pretty bold back then. Like I was very young and fresh out of college, and I went into teaching at a high school as a high school teacher. Like I was a ballsy guy back then. But it was, sometimes you just know that you have it in you to be good at this and to be good at that. I have it in me to be good at teaching. I can teach several things. Like, for example, I will be able to teach someone how to write a great essay, but that's not what I enjoyed the most. What I enjoyed the most was teaching math. So that's what I'm gonna teach then. What I enjoy more, what invigorates me more. For the writing, it's the same thing. I can write a lot of stuff. It doesn't have to be science fiction. It doesn't have to be an action thriller. But the thing is that science fiction and an epic action thriller is what makes me happier. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write that. It's what I'm doing. It's what I'm writing, what I'm working on. So, and the other hobby that I had, like on the unforgotten hat, because I never forgot about it. I always enjoyed it. Once upon a time when I was very younger, I was like 15, 16, before college. What I wanted to be at first was a game developer. Maybe there are some of you that want to be that. I don't want to take anyone away from that dream, because I know it feels like a dream back then. But eventually you have to figure out what it is that you enjoy more, what it is that you're better at, and you have to go with that. You have to go with what you're good at and with what makes you happier, because when you unite those two things in something that is a service to other people, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna be one of those that really makes a difference for any of the other people that need that service from someone who does it very well. You're gonna be one of those who does it very well, like I am. So basically, yeah, I think I should leave this here, because I need to I don't need to retrain myself to teach math. I already know that. I don't need to do any training with the writing of science fiction. I already know that. But I do need to retrain. I need some time to retrain myself with the clock, with the timer, because I know that here in YouTube, people like short videos. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter if you're the one who's teaching in the most clear manner in the universe how to learn this concept from Algebra 1, from Algebra 2. If you do it like in a 40-minute video, no one's gonna watch that. So I need to retrain myself to do it quickly, to do it faster, and to go straight to the point, straight to the parts that are the most important for anyone to learn each concept that I'm gonna cover clearly. So yeah, that's it. That's gonna be it for this one. I'm also thinking about the possibility, only because it's gonna be very useful for many people. Obviously, a channel is not gonna be about that or anything like that, but I think I can do like a video where I share my tips, for other people or even for young people, on how to learn how to swim. During the time when I was a teacher, I even relocated cities and everything to be a teacher. That was so crazy. But it was a good experience. It's one of those things, like when you're chasing something that you really enjoy, even if it doesn't work out, you're not gonna regret it. You still take away an experience from that, which was what happened to me when I was a classroom teacher. But during that time, I was like in my life, I was like in a personal overdrive of learning those things that I wanted to learn when I was 18 and 19, or do when I was 18 and 19, and I didn't do them back then. So I was that guy who was like, reaching my late 20s here, and You know, there was this that I wanted to do, didn't do it. There was that I wanted to do, didn't do it. Man, I wanted to do something, you know, I wanted to do some hardcore gaming at least once in my life. So I jumped into the PSVR stuff and I just went berserk with that's where all those cool videos, you know, Beat Saber, Super Hypercube, that's where all that came from. Like I had to get those, you know, those bugs fixed. So I did it. I taught myself how to swim. I taught myself how to play tennis in my late 20s by myself. It's you know, I'm someone that's pretty good at learning, and if I want to teaching those things to other people. I learned how to be a teacher because I didn't have training in teaching before that. I was a good student, so I already knew math. I was already good in math, but I didn't have the training to be a great teacher, so I taught myself how to do that. I learned how to be an author. I taught myself how to write great science fiction books. I learned so many things, so I guess maybe it might be good to share a couple of those in another one of these videos. Like the one that I'm gonna do, that one I'm gonna do for sure because I think I'm gonna help a lot of people if I do that. So you know, it doesn't hurt me. On the contrary, it's a good thing to help other people who need it. Like I once did. Like if you know, I can make a great video on giving people tips on how to learn how to swim. If you're someone who didn't learn it yet and you're beyond 20, you could be young too. I mean, I don't care your age. You can learn at any age. If you're following the right methodology, which is what I'm gonna share with you. I'm gonna share the methodology that I use to teach myself how to swim during those times when I was a teacher at the other city, when I was by myself and, you know, I wanted to learn everything that I didn't learn before. I was, you know, my brain was in overdrive during those years. It still is right now, but, you know, a more calmer state. Like, I still like learning all that, but I want to focus my mind now on the few branches like teaching math and writing the science fiction action thrillers, where I know that I can have a big impact. And you know, if there was something else that I wanted to learn, like for example archery, I practiced it like for a couple of weeks. I learned it. You know, I learned how to shoot the bow, the record bow, and the other one, the synthetic one. I forgot the name now. It's the, yeah, whatever. I did that for 2 weeks. I didn't really learn it as deeply as I would have liked to learn it, but that wasn't so important. You know, there are other branches that are more important in reality, like swimming. Swimming is for survival. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this here because I get motivated and I keep talking. With this video, you already know what I'm gonna do with this channel next. No, I'm not gonna kill the beer gaming and the beer videos. I'm just gonna leave it there as legacy material. So if you don't want to watch math videos, good explanations done in a clear way by me, if you don't want to watch the videos about the science fiction saga, which is so great, make sure, I don't care if you don't like reading, go to wattpad.com, Wattpad with a double T, Wattpad, double T in the Watt, /user/Valkyrian creator with a B, and begin reading that series. Book 1, which is like a TV season, season 1, I'm gonna do that for free, the whole season, the whole book, and I'm gonna post it there. I am posting it there, you know, I'm doing that right now. It's gonna be so great. I finished the introductory part with the introductory chapters, and right now the chapter that is coming next is the galactic betrayal and the traitor. The first chapter was fossils of the Homo sapiens. Just from reading that title, you know this thing is gonna go into thought-provoking stuff. So basically, that series is gonna get even better, because when we dive into the galactic betrayal and the traitor, I'm leaving behind the introductory phase of the story and I'm getting into the main part of it, which is much better than the intro, and it shows how good it really gets from the beginning, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this here because I'm going into 45 minutes already. I don't want to do 1 hour, but you already know all of it.